Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the class Buddhism 408, Buddhist Philosophy. Today is August 8, 2022. 8/8/2022. I hope everybody is doing great, except being warm, hot. So today, as I mentioned you last time, and according to our schedule, today is the day for midterm. Are you ready for midterm? Let us review what we did over the last few weeks and see how we were doing. Remember, we started with the class with the background to Buddhism, historical background. In the text, you find that there's a specific chapter called historical background, where we discussed about the social and especially the philosophical background during the time the Buddha arose in India. The Buddha came into existence in India during 6th century BC. During 6th century BCE, excuse me, give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. So during the 6th century BCE, there were many philosophers, so-called philosophers, during that time that we identified. Some were focusing on creation. The whole world is created by a powerful being, and we do not have any free will. We are not capable of taking decisions on our own because everything is defined by all-powerful being, that kind of philosophy. And then we have to accept it as it is. So, and then there were some other philosophers saying that all our knowledge is coming from that powerful being. Whatever the things that the powerful being said, that is true. So that kind of ideas. But we saw later in one of our classes, we saw that Buddha said that in Buddhism, it teaches that a valid means of knowledge, how we gather knowledge, how we get knowledge, how we derive knowledge, and the validity of those, the knowledge is in experience, right? Not just hearing something, not just by listening to a powerful man, things like that. Coming from tradition, hearsay, or those things are maybe true, maybe not true. So the best means of knowledge is one's own experience. Experience is the most valid form of knowledge, source of knowledge. So anyway, during that backdrop, Buddhism came along and taught that experiential knowledge is the valid source. So in historical background, we were looking at those things, and then we moved on to the very important aspect of Buddhist philosophy. We named it as Epistemology. There's a chapter in the book titled Epistemology. We discuss about that. So there we found that even though there were many other philosophers saying that many means of knowledge, the limitations of knowledge, our knowledge, and the sensory knowledge, extrasensory knowledge, and things like that. But Buddhism, Buddhism believes in Buddhist philosophy, actually. Not when I use Buddhism, it means Buddhist philosophy. Buddhist philosophy is focusing on sensual knowledge, knowledge derived from your senses, experience, and also it talks about extrasensory perception. You can perceive things going beyond our senses. So going beyond our senses is something very interesting. So in Buddhism, actually, there are some knowledges, some sort of knowledge that we can derive from extrasensory perception. When you develop your mind, you can expand your mind, or you can enlarge your mind to reach extrasensory things. So that is something very important. And so we saw that experience is the valid source of knowledge, perception in Buddhism. And then we moved on to another area, another very good, important aspect of Buddhist philosophy. In fact, that is the central, very important cardinal teaching in Buddhism, which is called causality, cause and effect, the relationship between cause and effect. So Buddhism says that everything happens based on some causes. You can trace back to the causes, and then you can understand things better. Why I did this? You can go back and see the causal chain. And then that way you can identify things better. Rather than believing on certain things, you yourself can recognize the causes and effects of our actions, our thoughts, whatever. And the things that are happening around us in the world, if you examine clearly the causal relationship between the life events and experiences, then we can have a clearer, perfect, precise understanding. So Buddhism strives to see things as it is. See things as it is. That's why to see things as it is, you need to have a grasp of the causal relationship between the events in life. That is why it is so important. And we saw that there are 4 important statements related to the causal theory. When this is, that comes to be. right? When this is not, that does not come to be. When this is absent, that does not come to be, right? On the cessation of this, that ceases. So if you want to stop something, you have to find the cause of that thing and address that thing. So Buddhism applies that theory to the major problem that we all are facing, suffering. Why are we suffering? Why do we suffer? So go back to the cause. Look at the cause of your suffering and answer is there. So you have to tackle, you have to address the cause. Once you tackle that thing, then suffering is no longer there. So that theory applies that theory to that situation, and Buddhism says that suffering, the cause of your suffering is nothing else but your craving. Once you get rid of craving, then there will be no more suffering. Like that. So the very theoretically, this is the most important teaching in Buddhism. Based on this theory, Buddhism explains everything in the world. Why do people have problems in their lives? There should be some cause. And why do some people why some people are poor? There should be some cause. So try to find out the cause. It could be a political issue. It could be an economic imbalance or something like that. So try to find out the cause and address to the cause. Try to find a solution to the cause. Try to understand the cause. And then only you can reach to a solution to any given issue. So in that sense, this theory of causality in Buddhist philosophy is so significant, so important. And then we looked at another aspect of Buddhist philosophy. It's called 3 characteristics of existence. I think last week we discussed this thing, so you should be able to remember it now. 3 characteristics of existence. We use the Pali term anicca, dukkha, and anatta, right? Impermanence and suffering or unsatisfactoriness, and then non-substantiality or no self. So not self. These 3 characteristics you find in everything. It is because of impermanence, things are changing, that we have to face suffering, that there is unsatisfactoriness. Unsatisfactoriness exists in our life because things change. If things will not change, if things won't change, then there won't be unsatisfactoriness, right? And the other thing is, when things are unsatisfactory and changing, then there is nothing to be taken as me or mine. That's called non-substantiality or anatta, and not self. There is nothing to be called myself. Because things are changing so fast, so quick. And that change brings us suffering, unsatisfactoriness. So nothing to be claimed as myself or mine. So this is the three characteristics of existence. And those, I think that's where we stopped. So this is only a little review. So you can go back to your book, take the book and read it and see how important these topics in Buddhism. Early Buddhism, we use the word early Buddhism. Remember, early Buddhism is considered to be the original teachings, the text, original texts, whatever the teachings that you find in original texts. So we discuss all these things. And now you are ready for the midterm. So you will get the questions as an email attachment, just like every other week. And you have to answer those questions in your own words. I don't need big, long answers, but you have to address the issue. Issue means that you have to answer the question, not anything else. Just answer the question. If I look at the answer, if that is enough, if I'm satisfied with your answer, you will get the marks. If you say something else, when I ask the question, what is early Buddhism? If you talk about something else, how can I grade you? Right? So you have to answer the question. So remember that thing. And please submit your answers during this week before the next class. You have 1 week. So I will go through them and see how you have done. So if you have any question, please ask me, email me. Hopefully you will be able to get good grades if you do answer the questions correct. Okay, thank you very much. And that's it for today. Good luck on your midterm. If you have any question, please email me. Don't hesitate to email me. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.